Hello and welcome to another update video about Cardano. In this video, we're going to take a look at what the Cardano price is doing, also what Bitcoin is doing. We won't lose a lot of time and jump in straight away to the 4-hour chart for Bitcoin before we continue with Cardano. Bitcoin continues to trade in this rectangle pattern, sideways consolidation after that move to the upside. I did say in my last video from here, if we hold above that 53k level, I anticipate a breakout to the upside because these rectangle patterns are usually trend continuation patterns, and I would expect us to get at least to 57k from here. 57k is where the resistance zone starts for Bitcoin. On the left hand side here, we've got all these levels which are really overlapping. You know, there's a bit of a messy area of resistance, so there's a lot of resistance coming up here. And yeah, if we break through here, we could get to the 65k, but there is a lot to take in there to get above. And yes, we continue to trade sideways. I think at some point we will see a breakout to the upside because we are currently moving down here on the RSI. We've come now out finally out of the overbought territory. Yesterday we were still in there. Now we are dropping below the 70 line on the RSI. We're around 60 now, so there is a bit of scope now to the upside. Maybe we'll drop a little bit further, maybe here to that 57 range where we were before on the RSI, before we continue our way to the upside. That's at least what I expect. Again, no guarantee that the breakout to the upside will happen, but I think in the short term, we will see further price increases before we can face some serious resistance at the all-time high. If we get there, you know, as I said, we face a lot of resistance here. And I also pre-warned you in a previous video that this could potentially not be the continuation of the uptrend. This could still be a larger, more complex corrective phase within an overall uptrend. So just because we get back to the all-time high, for example, doesn't mean that we have come through the woods yet. So we could still be in that corrective phase here, and we could have something like an A, B, and C correction. Come down once more before we continue our way up to target levels as per the stock to flow model, for example. Let's continue with Cardano. Cardano similar. Cardano just trading in this range here at the moment, but we can see that we are above this orange trend line here. I talked about that before. See a very similar structure as we can see actually with so many other cryptos. To be honest, a lot of people think, and I've covered a lot of altcoins today in the last few days, a lot of people think that Cardano is actually performing quite poorly at the moment. But to be honest, it is only doing what many other cryptos doing as well. With many other altcoins, we have an ascending trend line here. We've got some sort of triangle pattern currently here. Some have already broken out, some haven't. Yeah, and Cardano is often compared to Solana and, you know, some other cryptos which are performing really well at the moment. But to be honest, just compares Cardano at the moment to some other cryptos which currently just are stuck in this triangle pattern. As I said, some have already moved out of it, some just haven't, and it's just a question of time until we see a breakout of that triangle pattern. So it's not really doing anything unusual here. It's still above that ascending trend line that we can identify on so many other altcoin charts at the moment. The only difference with Cardano is that we face a horizontal support line here, and I haven't seen that on many other crypto charts. I think it's normally like a just a symmetrical triangle, but anyway, this is the only difference. I think we are moving up, making higher lows here, and we are getting closer to the 50 range on the RSI. Just touching it now, you know, making higher lows here on the RSI. So that's looking good. It's looking good, and also looking at the ADX, these direction index, movement index lines here, the green one is getting closer to the red one, which is good from below. We've seen that bullish cross on the MACD, we talked about it, and you know, it's not looking bad. I mean, we're climbing up, just face that horizontal resistance line here, and we're going to take a closer look at that on the 1-hour chart. So where we were this morning in my update video, in my last update video on Cardano, we dropped after we were in a descending triangle, yeah, so making lower highs while having a horizontal support line. Yeah, and that indicates that the buyers just can't push the price higher. Now, then we drop because of that. We then hit that ascending trend line, actually, support line, and it seems to be something like an ascending trend line here that we can identify with 1, 2, certainly at least 3 touch points. And now we're climbing up in this ascending triangle, which is sort of the next bigger pattern. So it's a bit strange, that overlap of a descending and ascending trend line. Descending triangle and an ascending triangle. But we are going to face some resistance here very soon. I expect some resistance here coming towards the 228, where we are pretty much now, because this is that previous high that we made here. You can see it there, previous high there. And if we continue to climb, you know, that there is certainly important resistance here at 232. We are still in this larger scale pattern. And if I zoom out a little bit, we are, even though this is an ascending triangle, yeah, with the horizontal resistance line of 232, we still have that larger ascending triangle at play here as well, within which we are trading. So on a larger scale as well, we've got that ascending one here with 1, 2, 3, 4 touch points going higher. Yeah, so I expect us to stay in that apex for a moment. I mean, maybe we see the breakout already here in that apex, but if we break below that line again, then I think we are continuing to trade here. But at some point, I expect the move to the upside. Yes, and I talked about price targets of 450 for this year in that continuation of that wave 3. So let me just go to the Binance chart. This is where I've got it all on. This Binance chart with regards to the Elliott Wave model. And previously in videos, I said, you know, we had a completion of that impulsive wave to the upside up here. Then we made an ABC correction. We hit the target levels, but because of the structure we're currently forming, also with Bitcoin, not convinced that we've come out of that correction yet, personally, you know. So it could be that we're just having an A correction here. The B will be somewhere up here, and the C, we could come down once more before we then continue in that completion of that wave 3, which would take us to at least 450. So it's a bit of an extended corrective phase potentially at the moment. The only, you know, if we, however, now really form a nice impulsive move to the upside, then it will be more likely that we've already seen the corrective phase. But at the moment, you know, we still make lower highs here, to be honest. So it doesn't really look like that impulsive move to the upside. The market hasn't decided yet. The market is careful. So at the moment, I'm always on the conservative side slightly. So I assume that even if we go up again, maybe even to 265, 280, we could still come down once more, maybe to even lower levels like 181 or even 145. That is what could happen, even though in the short term, I expect price increases and everything is possible in the crypto market. If we break through these levels, especially 280, and we continue our way to 310, then that corrective phase is of course over. And then the price target is certainly 450 to the completion of that wave 3 based on the Elliott Wave method. We are in a third wave at the moment. This was not a fourth corrective wave. We've come down too far. This was wave 1. Wave 2 was down here. And then since then we have been in the wave 3. We haven't completed yet because we came down too far. So still in wave 3, which is the longest wave. Typically, not always, typically the longest wave in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pattern, which goes with a trend. So yeah, I'm just waiting for that 450 target at some point in the not too distant future, but we have to complete that corrective phase here. And as I said, maybe we've already completed it, but then if that was the case, the market is really very, very careful at the moment. And these are just the two scenarios here. You know, we could have already completed that corrective phase, in which case we would have seen the low here at 191 already. That was then the C. But I've moved the C down here now because I think we could come down once more after a short-term price increase. That is also based on Bitcoin. And while we're talking here, I think Bitcoin is breaking out. Is it 55K? Or maybe it's just staying within it. And let me just go to the 1 hour chart. I think it's nice. I think it's still in the range. With Bitcoin, if it breaks above that 55.4K level, I think then we are breaking out of that rectangle, and then hopefully Cardano will break out of that ascending triangle as well. That's pretty much my take on the Cardano chart at the moment. Let me know what you think. Hope you liked the video, hope you liked the content. If you did, please smash the like button and leave a comment, and also subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video. Bye bye.